As I told, 3 rounds gonna be there, and each round 5 questions. I'll share one question and multiple options, and let's see who can give the right answer. So let's start with round number 1. We are talking about general safety. Look at the picture first, and it's $100 question, number 1. The question is, accidents and near misses should be reported. Accidents and near misses should be reported. Yes, they should be reported. But why? So that can be investigated and prevented from happening again. Option B is so that the company doctor can decide how much time off work is needed, so that the company can track lost time injuries, or so that if any first aid supplies are used, they can be refilled. So what is your answer? You can give your answer in the chat box, or even you can speak up. It's up to you. You can unmute your mic, you can speak up otherwise in the chat box. Whichever option you believe is the right one. And technically, logically, you have to prove also, because I need the doubt-free answer, not the doubtful answer. The confident answer I'm expecting. Accidents and near misses should be reported because why? Like Mr. Mashari and Mr. Isa, they replied with option A. Any other opinion, please? Mr. Brother, you'll also go with A. So, yes, A is the right answer, mashallah. Excellent. So, $100 question number 1. It's all well done. Look at the picture for this question number 2. Like $200 question is there. The question is, for each shift, 2 people trained in first aid and CPR should be available, but in larger facilities may require more. True or false? $200 question looks very simple, but let's see. What is your answer? For each shift, 2 people trained in first aid and CPR should be available. Note, larger facilities may require more. So yes, Mr. Isa is true, mashallah. Okay, so $300 question is there. Look at the picture. We are talking about general safety, and our topic of the day from Nibosh is all about general workplace issues. So we can consider all those general workplace issues even. Now, what does good electrical safety mean? What does good electrical safety mean? $300 question. Look at the picture first. The options are: electrical systems and wiring is maintained in a safe condition and receives regular scheduled maintenance. Procedures should be in place to make sure the wiring is in the correct size, insulated correctly, and properly connected. Qualified electricians should provide maintenance as needed, or all of the above. So look at the picture first, then go with the question, and accordingly you can decide your answer. Mr. Isa and Mr. Badr, you'll go for option D. And so that means you are endorsing, acknowledging that all the points have to be implemented. Okay. So D is the right answer. Correct, Marshall. $500 question number 4. Look at the picture first. Job hazard analysis are there, and a few manual handling activities are highlighted. The question is, to prevent injuries, hazards should be identified, evaluated, and controlled. Identify which of the following could be considered a risk. Continually lifting heavy boxes from a conveyor to a pallet, cleaning your car on your day off, pushing finished production on a hand trolley throughout the shift, or both A and C. What would be your answer here? Ms. Risa, you'll go with D. Okay. Any other opinion, please? Raise D is the right option, my friend. So question number 5, $1,000 question is there. Look at the picture first. We're talking about general safety. It's a round number 1. Last question of the round number 1. So the question is, water, air, noise, and temperature can all be hazards. These should be monitored for the health and safety of all, which is not correct. Noise below 85 decibel or 80 decibel as per UK regulations cannot cause hearing damage regardless of the time exposed. Air quality should be monitored and air pollution control system should be well maintained. Water inside and outside should drain correctly to not cause slip hazards. Air discharge such as dust, fumes, gas, mist, odor, smoke, or even vapor, pollen or soot, carbon, acid or particle matters should be controlled to protect people. So which option is not correct out of 4 options? $1,000 question number 5, round number 1. And the last question of round number 1 is going on. We are talking about general safety. Which is not correct? Yes, please. Anybody have the answer? I mean the correct answer? $1,000 question number 5, round number 1. Water, air, noise, and temperature can all be hazards. These should be monitored for health and safety of all, which is not correct. Out of 4 options, which is not correct? Which one is not correct actually? Okay, so Ms. Risa, you're going with A, mashallah. Okay. Anyone else, please? Any other opinion? Any other opinion, please? Ms. Risa, what is the logic behind? I mean, why you are going with A? What is the key logic or kind of technicality you observed?
Yeah, I think I will go with A because it's below 85.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also B and C, D, I think B, C, D, it's correct. I think so. Well, I'm not sure about that, but that's my opinion.
Okay, so you are right, mashallah. The right answer is A. Because why this statement is not acceptable? we can reread again. Noise below 85 decibel cannot cause hearing damage regardless of the time exposed. 80 decibel or 85 decibel, basically it is standardized for 8 hours. So above than 8 hours, of course, the same decibel would also be, harmful for our employees. Maybe they can be deaf or hearing damage. So that is why the words, regardless of the time exposed, that statement is incorrect or it's not acceptable actually. So A is the right option, mashallah. Brilliant. Excellent, mashallah. So round two, again 5 questions gonna be there. Let's see who can give the right answer. $2,000 question number 6 is there. Look at the picture first. Machines with the safety guards missing can be used at the operator's own risk. True or false? Machines with the safety guards missing can be used at the operator's own risk. Okay, Mr. Weather, you'll go with B, Mr. Isa with B. So yes, quite straightforward. We can't leave everything on the shoulders of our operators. Actually, we just need to make sure, because ensuring safe workplace is the responsibility of employer. He is responsible to provide safe working conditions, and maintainability and following safety regulations is the responsibility of employees or every employee. Excellent. So question number 7, $4,000 question is there. Look at the picture first. We are talking about plant and equipment safety. The question is, lockout or tagout should be used when and by who? I repeat again, lockout or tagout. This lockout tagout basically is kind of just locking some energies. Could be electrical, could be mechanical, could be hydraulic, pneumatic, something like that. But either you try LOTO or you apply isolations. But ultimately the purpose is to disconnect all sort of energies before we start our repairing project or kind of maintenance project, or for any reason. If we truly want to work in a certain area, especially for electricity or any energies are there, we truly need to isolate. Like if you take an example of confined space, so several disconnection of pipes or putting some blinds, we apply. We just don't want to see any hazardous gases or materials coming inside. We disconnect them, and we try our level best to remove even the residual energy, not to compromise with the remained energy. So local tagout and isolation is mandatory to remove, to control certain kind of energies. And what kind of energies can be there? Could be electrical, mechanical, gravity, pressure, hydraulic, pneumatic, in other words, spring loaded. Some chemicals can also be there. So we have to isolate or lock those energies before we start our maintenance or repair project, or sometime even for inspections, we also apply all these things. So at the end of a shift, so that the next shift restarts the line, so shift yields can be calculated accurately. Lockout tagout should be used when and who? To isolate the machinery during maintenance repair. Anyone performing maintenance or servicing who is trained in lockout tagout procedure, who knows? Both B and C. Lockout and tagout should be used when and by who? 4 options are there. So let me see your answer, inshallah. Mr. Isa, you'll go with option A. Okay, so at the end of a shift or the next restart the line, so shift yields can be calculated accurately. Okay. Any other opinion, please? Lockout or tagout should be used when and by who? Okay, Mr. Brother, you'll go with the option B, to isolate the machinery during maintenance repair. Okay, D. So that means both B and C. And Mr. Mashari, you'll also go with D. Okay. Any other opinion, Mr. Ali? What is your opinion, Mashallah? Mr. Rayan, your opinion, please. Okay, Mr. Mashari, you'll go with D. And so, yes, guys, D is the right answer because it looks more logical as per the question asked. Lockout or tagout should be used when and by who? So we use it for maintenance and repair or whenever we perform maintenance or searching. So it should be done by the trained person who is trained in lockout tagout procedure. So through that way, the logical option looks like D, but we also have option A, another answer from Ms. Risa. So let's see which one is the right one. So $4,000 question number 7. So D is the right answer, both B and C. Okay, question number 8, $8,000 question is there. This is a little bit tricky question because normally we take it as a working at height, you know, but the question you truly have to understand logically and technically, like adequate railings or barriers are required for every open-sided floor or platform above which height. Adequate railings or barriers are required for every open-sided floor or platform above which height? 0.5 meter, 1.8 meter, 1.0 meter, in other words, 1 meter, or 2 meter. Adequate railings or barriers are required for every open-sided floor or platform above which height? But they're not talking about working at height. Bear in mind, I told you, in advance actually. Okay, so Mr. Brother, you'll go with B. Adequate railings or barriers are required for every open-sided floor. He's not talking about working at height. He's talking about open-sided floors actually. So just for our safety, because there is still a certain height. And he's talking about for that open-sided floor or platform above which height we need to install. And Mr. Brother, you replied with option B, like 1.8 meter means 6 feet. And he's talking about open-sided floor, not working at height. I told you, no? He's not talking about working at height. He's talking about open-sided floor. So what about if open-sided floor is 5 feet, or if it is 4 feet, or if it is like 3 feet, or 1 meter in other words? Don't we need adequate railings or barriers if that height is 3 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet? Or we will just follow 1.8 meter? That's why I mentioned, this is a little bit tricky question. So let's see who can give the right answer. $8,000 question number 8. So Mr. Isa, you'll go with the C. Okay, any other opinion, please? Okay. Mr. Ali mentioned the option C. Mr. Brother, you go with B. Any other opinion, please? Adequate railings or barriers are required. Look at the picture even. Adequate railings or barriers are required for every open-sided floor or platform above which height? We have until now two options answers, like one from Mr. Badit, he mentioned B is the right one, and Mr. Ali is already mentioned C. Any other opinion, please, or you'll go with B or C? Mr. Isa, you'll go with the C. Okay. Mr. Ali, what is your opinion? Ms. Mishari, you'll also go with C. Excellent. So C is the right answer. C is the right answer because, like, if 3 feet height is there, still that height is so dangerous, especially for open-sided floors, actually, or any sort of platforms. So we required railings or barriers. So even from 3 feet, somebody should not fell down. Even several people I noted, they have the height like 2 feet or even 2.5 in other words, and still they have that railing, and because that is how you ensure safety at every level. So C is the right answer. Brilliant, Marshall. Question number 9, $16,000 question. Round number 2 is going on. Look at the plant and equipment safety. Look at the picture first. The question is, working at height is working at above 1.8 meter. Adequate fall protection means what? Working at height is working at above 1.8 meter. Adequate fall protection means what? Option A is guardrails, safety net, body harnesses, or lifelines should be used with adequate anchor points. Any harness configuration is okay as long as it supports a person like a back belt. Guardrails must be in place for all situations above 1.8 meter or all of the above. So what is your answer? But bear in mind, you have to understand the question, the crux of the question. He's talking about working at height is working at above 1.8 meter. So what is meaning of adequate fall protection? Adequate fall protection means what? Okay, so Mr. Isa, you'll go with D. Any other opinion, please? Any other opinion, please? These are our day-to-day challenges, as a safety leader. We observe people, they are working at height. We need to check them, either they're following working at height, all the regulations, either our internal working at height procedure, or as per some OSHA regulations, or maybe some other, or maybe Royal Commission, some standards are there for working at height. Sometimes we remember, sometimes we get the reference from the procedures and we double check, or sometimes we have inspection checklist for working at height, Like Mr. N, you'll go with D. Oh, sorry, C. Guardrails must be in place for all situations above 1.8 meter. But he's talking about adequate fall protection means what? So guardrails must be in place for all situations above 1.8 meter. Any other opinion, please? So brother, you'll go with A. Guardrails, safety net, body harnesses, or lifelines should be used with adequate anchor points. And that anchor point, like where you are putting that hook, must be capable to bear like minimum 5,000 pounds weight. So, Mr. Brother, it looks more logical, option A. But what about option B or C or even D? Any harness configuration is okay as long as it supports a person like a back belt. Is it acceptable? Yes or no? So for each option, we just need to decide, is it acceptable? Yes or no? No, no, no. It's technically not sound because back belt is not acceptable, right? And guardrails must be in place for all situations above 1.8 meters. Like if you remember the previous question, surely you will not go with option C because guardrails is recommended even if the height is 1 meter. So if the height is 1.8 meter, we need complete fall protection in shape of guardrails, in shape of a safety net, body harnesses, lifeline, and with a anchor point. So, Mr. Badr, you're absolutely right, inshallah. So we will go with option A. Excellent, mashallah. Now, question number 10, $32,000 question is there. Look at the picture first. Looks like confined spaces. How should confined or enclosed workplaces such as tanks, pits, boilers, silos, or even vaults be managed? All confined spaces are identified by signage and language understood by workers. Identified related hazards evaluated before people can enter. Only trained people are permitted to enter confined spaces, all of the above. $32,000 question number 10. How are we going to manage confined spaces? Okay, so Ms. Ram, Mr. Isa, you'll go with D. Any other opinion, please? So yes, D is the right answer. All options are correct. Excellent, mashallah. The last round of this competition, and so far, brilliant, mashallah, because these are quite practical challenges. Sometimes day to day we are resolving, we are facing, and even guiding accordingly, to our employees. Now look at the picture. We are talking about personal safety. $64,000 question number 11. The question is chemical handling information is contained within the SDS or MSDS. Which statement is not correct? So MSDS contain identification and composition information for the chemical. First aid instructions are on the MSDS, and so far it is an exception. Should take the MSDS to doctor or hospital. Having MSDS means all safety requirements are accounted for and no PP is required. Hazard identification, including storage requirements and spill instructions. So, which statement is not correct out of 4 options? 4 statements are there. So, which statement is not correct? $64,000 question number 11. Okay, so Ms. Mishari, you'll go with option C. Mr. Brother, you'll also go with C. Yes, C is the right answer because having MSDS means all safety requirements are accounted for, until up to this one, the statement is okay. But what is wrong into it? And no PP is required. So that is why the C is the incorrect statement. So C is the right option. No, look at the picture first. $125,000, question number 12. Last round is going on. Emergency eye wash or showers are to be made readily available where corrosives and chemicals are used as recommended by MSDS. As a safety auditor, I observed several companies, they have eye washer, but no water. They have eye washer, but sensor is not functioning. Eye washer is there, but water is contaminated. Eye washer is not visible, or hard to access actually. Eye washer sometimes is not at the right place, near to the chemical working area or chemical handling area, or near to the processes where chances of some kind of eye irritation could be there because of chemicals or because of other reasons. And sometimes the eye washer is there, but the water is fully hot, especially in summer season. So even you can't use them actually. So several issues with the eye washer. And to be very honest, sometimes we believe, oh, for the last 6 months, no use of eye washer. So it looks it's not important, but you never know when it's going to be so much important. And sometimes the employees are not familiar about the location also. Because that is why I personally suggest, put your eye washer pictures or location pictures, even, in your evacuation map. Because in your evacuation map, you highlight fire extinguishers location, the first aid, the muster point. Same way, you can highlight the eye washer location as well. So it would be a continual reminder, for people to understand where is the eye washer. Or you can put into your induction program also the location of eye washers. In case of any eye injuries or kind of eye irritation, like we have sandstorm, one of the biggest reasons to keep eye washer for sure, at our side, especially in the remote areas or the projects when we have, especially in desert areas, we surely must have active eye washers with no issues actually. But if you see the checklist, 100% ticks are there that everything is okay with the eye washer. So emergency eye wash showers are to be made readily available where corrosives and chemicals are used as is recommended by MSDS. True or false? True or false? Emergency eye wash showers are to be made readily available where corrosives and chemicals are used as recommended by MSDS. It's true. Yes, Mr. Ryan, Ms. Mashari, Mr. Isa, it's true. The last three questions remained. So $250,000, question number 13. Look at the picture first. Even though you have studied about personal safety, but hearing protection should reduce exposure to less than 80 or 85 decibel per 8 hours exposure equivalent. All types of earplugs and muffs will provide the same level of protection. True or false? $250,000 question is there. all types of earplugs and muffs will provide the same level of protection. $250,000 question is there. So it's not the same, right? Like if you're reading an ear muff or earplug, so the level of protection is entirely different. Maybe the earplug is designed to reduce the impact for 5 decibel or 10 decibel, while earmuff might be designed for 20 decibel or even more than that. So yes, it's the false statement. Second last question, $0.5 million question number 14. Look at the picture. Hand protection is required. It's a little bit tricky question, but I hope you'll give the right answer. So since you all are experienced, mashallah. Hand protection is required to protect against contact with chemicals, to protect against lacerations or lacerations, to protect against extreme hot or cold temperatures, all of the above. To protect against contact with chemicals, to protect against vibrations, to protect against extreme hot or cold temperatures, all of the above. So yes, it's pretty straightforward. We'll go with D, all of the above. Excellent, mashallah. The last question of round number 3, question number 15, $1 million question is there. Look at the picture first. Even though yesterday we have studied some of the respirators, now, respiratory protection requirements include what? The identification and evaluation of the contaminant with testing carried out by the relevant regulatory or research department, an emergency plan for anyone suffering asthma, a variety of masks and filter specs so workers can look good wearing when wearing, annual chest TB X-ray for all staff. What is your right answer? $1 million question is there. Respiratory protection requirements includes what? Respiratory protection requirements includes because each respirator definitely have some solid purpose according to the working conditions or as per our requirement at the project site. Like if H2S is above than 10 ppm or carbon monoxide above than 35 ppm or oxygen is below 19.5 percentage or LEL is above 5% while the cold work is there in the confined space. So what kind of respirator we have to use and how that respirator should look like and what is the purpose of that and the benefits. So same respirator cannot be applied everywhere, right? According to the condition we need to select. So now what are the requirements, $1 million question is there. Question number 15. Let's see who's gonna give the right answer, inshallah. Ms. Mashar, you'll go with option C. Okay. And Mr. Ryan, you are with A. Okay, so any other opinion, please? We have two different opinions. Like Mr. Mishari, he mentioned option C, and Mr. Ryan and Mr. Isa, you're going with A. So let's have some debate between A and C. Like C is a variety of mask and filter specs, so workers can look good wearing when wearing. That means they should look handsome or beautiful the moment they're gonna wear this respirator. That is all about option C actually, even though they talk about the filter specs as well. So let's now study the option A, the identification. First, we need to identify what kind of respirator required, and that would be mentioned even in the controls the moment we'll be completing our risk assessment. And in the control section, we will definitely mention which exactly for this process, for this area, for this confined space, which respirator have to be used and why the identification and evaluation of the contaminant. So as per the environment, as per the uh, toxic environment of that area, accordingly we are going to have the respirator. So make sure it is well tested, especially carried out by the relevant regulatory and research department. So A looks more logical and technically sound, So $1 million are going with the guys who selected option A, Marshall. Brilliant, brilliant, mashallah. So this is all about the competition with 3 rounds, and I'm pretty excited that you guys, because since we didn't study anything about workplace safety or kind of workplace issues even, but still, because of your experience and common sense and logical approach, this competition really went well, mashallah. Thank you very much. So now we'll go back to our presentation, inshallah.